before I put the rest of the engine back together, with including the inlet, etc., and the carburettor, I need to try and fix this clutch. I need to replace the master cylinder, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that panel off, and see if I can get it out. Hopefully I've got a spare one kicking about. Well, there's a bit of a fight, but it's out. It's a 1.12 inch, you can just see on the markings there. So it's a fairly big one. I think we can maybe swap that out for a smaller diameter one, so it's pushing less fluid. And the shaft does look a bit bent as well, which probably tells its own story. So yeah, let's swap that out and see if we can make that for one with a bit of a shorter shaft as well. So you can see the original Willwood master cylinder at the top there, that's 1 point something inches, and then I've got two here, they're exactly the same, 0.75. They're actually the biggest ones I have, so you know, this is actually going to be a good thing because it'll be pumping a lot less fluid, which means you know, I think we've got too much clutch action anyway. My biggest problem is this shaft is quite a lot longer than the Willwood one, and I think this has been cut down to fit, but because of the pedal we have to use this clevis piece, unfortunately, but it does screw on no problem. So yeah, it does mean the clutch pedal is going to come a bit further back even more, but I don't think it will affect me too much because the clutch pedal is out of the way. Got to see, but the master cylinder is clashing with the bolt for the wishbone, so I need to swap it so the long thread is actually pointing that way and the head is the other way, so I've got more space. So that is going to take some time, unfortunately. The reason why it's probably gone in that way is because there's probably not enough room from the bulkhead there to the bolt to actually fit it in, so it's going to have to come out, it's going to have to be cut. Right, there's the lower arm bolt pulled out. I've marked up in white where I need to cut as well. There we go. There we go, shortened one in. And you can see the new master cylinder is slightly longer than the old one, and the bracket for it is not going to work, so I need to think again on that. Okay, this clutch is causing a lot more problems than I'd anticipated. You can see down there the pedal is pretty much in line with the master cylinder, which means that this clevis hasn't got a hope in hell of fitting, but I've got this, so this will work. It needs to be offset from the pedal, so it can go on either side of it really, but that does mean moving the pedal, it's difficult to see, but moving the pedal to one of the sides, which is doable, but it means the floor's got to come off, and ideally that master cylinder wants to be shortened as well, so yeah, not a simple job it's turning out to be. Very frustrating. I'm going to do something about this front floor as well and make it removable so it's easier to load and unload off the trailer, and then so we've still got to put the engine together and make sure that all works. We've got to fix the clutch, we've got to fix the rear wing. Snetterton's about 6 weeks away, but really I haven't actually got that much time to work on it because of personal things going on, so it is still touch and go, and I would like to shake it down before we go and spend money on a race weekend, but yeah. Okay, I've come to a decision. I actually bought the alley over there to sort the floor out. As soon as the floor needs to come off, you see I've already taken the front off. I'm going to take this side panel off and take the floor off. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is I also need to sort the side out for the driver because there's just not enough room at the sides. So the middle panel's going to come off. So we're going to be stripping a lot back, potentially doing some welding, and then sorting this car up properly. You can see we've got the car stripped down from all its bodywork, and I've made the decision to replace the floor, and I think I'm going to replace the diffuser as well. One thing I've learned through this build is that, you know, you don't really want to try and combine too many functions from one component. For example, if I want to take the floor off, it's changed now, but the original fixings for the lower wishbones, not there now, bolt through the floor. You can see, it's difficult to see it there, but you can see under the floor, just where the jack is, it's a bit difficult to see the bolts, but you can see the bolts there. So if you want to take the floor off, you have to take lower wishbones off on the original design. And also, it's a bit more difficult to see here, but hopefully you can see those bolts under the floor. That's for the gearbox mounts. So if you want to take the floor off, you've got to take the front wishbones off, you've got to get the gearbox out, and likewise the rear diffuser bolts to it as well. So it's a real faff, whereas I'm going to change it so that if you take the floor off, you only take the floor off, has no other impact on really anything else, as much as possible. It won't be possible for everything. For example, the bodywork stays will be part of it, but you know, that bit can just stay on the floor when it comes off. It's not going to be such a big deal. And I think I'm going to change this diffuser as well. I don't know if we'll have it ready for Snetterton, but hopefully we will. The only thing that's really attached to the floor here is this light and the rain light, so that's not too difficult to do. And the other concern I've got with the diffuser as well is that if you don't know anything about the diffusers, what you really should design in is a 7-degree angle, a 7-degree rake. Well, you can see that arm, the A-arm at the bottom, so the diffuser really will only be able to start angling up after the arm, so it will be at an angle in my new design, but the length of it you can see is about 33 inches, 84 centimeters. So you know, a 33-inch, 84 millimeter high length diffuser would equate to about 100, just over 100 millimeters in height. And I think this is probably quite a bit taller than that. Just looking at this is probably more like yeah, 100 and at least 150, probably a bit more because this is starting on the slope a bit. So it's 150 millimeters. So it's quite a lot taller than it should be. That should be quite a lot lower than it is. So we're definitely losing some effect from the floor. Plus all the bolts through the floor probably disrupting the airflow. Yeah, we can definitely do a lot better and make it a lot more usable as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip off this rear diffuser, and it's just an evening today, and I'm going to go strip off the rest of this this tunnel as well. And also, one thing we're going to do is widen the cockpit as much as we can as well before we put the floor back on. So we've got lots to do. Let's strip these bits off, and then magically we should see a clean car. See, it's a bit difficult to see. You see it's started to crack around here, and it's even got a bend in it, so this isn't really a good material, I think, for diffusers, or at least the way this has been mounted. I lowered this here and I put some steel in it to maintain the stiffness in the middle of the chassis, but it's not quite wide enough for me, so I'm just going to sit down, see if removing that panel has helped. Maybe we can shape the aluminium panel so I fit better. So now I'm in the car, it's still a tight fit, but you can see I am spilling over a little bit. You can see my trousers down here, look, just down there. spilling over into it, so it's going to make sense to try and put the inner panel, the aluminium panel on the inside here rather than the outside, just to give me that extra room, and then I might shave a little bit off this side as well. We're going to fix this issue with the floor. Front bulkhead there, gearbox mount there, and the rear gearbox mount there, and they're all bolted through the floor with these bolts that are roughly about 8mm, and they interact with the floor. You can see how they protrude quite a lot out of the floor. So, and also they're bolted in with some interaction with the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace those bolts with these 8mm countersunk washers and bolts. So that'll make the floor flat, and then for the floor I'm going to cut around the head of these as well, so that if I take the floor off, the gearbox and everything can remain in place. And also this should be a much cleaner airflow as well to the rear of the car.